We're going to look here about your work experience and your career goals. So how you can put this into your application form or your covering letter or your CV, how to align it with what the company wants to see, and how you can make your extracurricular activities relevant. So your work experience. Now, this is an entry-level job. People understand that you are not going to have a vast amount of work experience. In fact, most people will have no work experience at all, and that is understood and accepted, so that is not something to worry about. What you can use, though, and you can draw on experience from things like any volunteering work you've done. If you've done work experience, say during your GCSEs, any part-time jobs you might have, any committee roles that you had at university or groups and clubs that you were part of. You can pull from anything that's useful, but pull out relevant skills from them. So by this, I don't mean saying that you stacked shelves at Tesco's or any relevant supermarket. I mean that you were able to develop customer-facing roles through this. You were able to work with different colleagues and in a group, and you were able to take on tasks yourself and complete them with little supervision. So it doesn't really matter what that work experience is, where it comes from. What matters is that it's relevant and the skills that you've put in there. So your career goals. Now, I'm making the assumption, as we've discussed earlier, that you are applying to this company because this is somewhere that you want to work. And this is really what you need to show, that you desperately want to work in the space industry and your passion is working with horn antennas, for example. If you've taken me, that's my favourite thing, and that's a great place to do that, and it will give you opportunity to work with something that you're very interested and passionate about. So make your skills relevant, make your career goals relevant to what you're applying to. So as I've mentioned before, I used to look after the graduate scheme, and I read, I don't know how many hundreds of applications for the graduate scheme in the department I was working in a defence company. And you'd be amazed the number of people that said their career goal is to work with Formula One cars. And you're like, well, why are you applying here? This is not a suitable match for you if your career goals and your passion is somewhere else. So align it to the area that you're applying to. So extracurricular activities. We touched on this a little bit, and that you can pull out those relevant skills sets that you learn in your extracurricular activities. So I've spent a lot of my life dancing. So when I was applying for this kind of role, I drew out a lot of the teaching skills and the instruction skills that I gained from dancing, and also the fact that you're used to taking correction and acting on it. So, however weird that hobby is that you have, there are some parts of it that are very relevant to the job that you're applying to. I would say, though, don't make up hobbies if you don't do them, and don't exaggerate how far you got in them. I have examples from the people that I've interviewed where someone claimed to be a keen via ferretta, but actually when you asked them had no idea what it was. I did. And I had someone in that was a keen dancer, and they were saying that they'd got to a certain level in the dancing exams, and I asked them what variation they'd chosen, and they looked at me blankly because it's not something they'd ever done. Unfortunately, I had done that, and I had done that exam that they were claiming to do. So there is no need to exaggerate. What you actually do is interesting enough, and you can pull out those relevant skills from that. So the references is a difficult thing to do. You kind of expect at least one academic reference at entry level, because again, everybody understands that you can't necessarily give a referee from a previous employment because you might not have one. So try to choose somebody that you've actually worked with. So don't just pick a teacher that you taught you 5 years ago. Pick a teacher that you've actually worked with recently. The same for lecturers at university. Try and pick a subject, a project supervisor maybe, or somebody that you've worked with a little bit more than just sat in one of their lectures. If you have got, say, a previous summer placement or an internship or something like that, they're good people to use for references, so make sure you ask at the time that if you can use them for reference and take their details away with you. You can also, if use someone from a group or a hobby that you're involved with. So scouts, guides, dancing, karate, you know, choose your pick there. They're likely to give you a very good reference, and they know you and they know the kind of skills that you have in the business world. Do always ask your referees that you're okay to use them before you put them on the form though. So there's nothing quite as surprising as getting a form saying, you know, you've agreed to do a reference for so-and-so, and you're like, well, no, I haven't. It's not a good start for your referee. So always ask them, always check that they're happy to do that before you pop their name down. So in conclusion, whatever work experience you have, whether that is from a paid job, a technical job, a hobby, whatever it is, make it relevant to what you're applying to. Pull out those skills, those transferable skills that you've learned there, and show that you can use them. Make sure you're applying to the right company, that it lies within what you want to work with, where your passion area is, and that's going to be very easy to align what you want to do with the company. And pick a suitable referee or two. And you ready? I'll see you in the next video.